Hi everyone, welcome to my channel Venusianscorp, where I talk about all things astrology and tarot related. Today's video is going to be about Sun in the second house. So it doesn't matter what zodiac sign your sun sign is in. So you could be a Sun in Scorpio, you could be a Sun in Taurus, or any zodiac sign. This is to do with where your sun sign is placed, which house it's placed in the zodiac wheel. So today I'm talking about your sun sign in the second house on the zodiac wheel. So before I get started with the actual topic, I wanted to discuss a little bit about what I talk about on this channel and the kind of services that I offer. So I basically talk about astrology and tarot on my channel, different aspects of astrology and tarot. And what I also do is I offer holistic healing services. So these are customized to your individual birth chart. It's basically a recommendation plan, which is a combination of yoga, nutrition, diet, alternative medicine, and healing therapies, as well as crystal therapies, to give you a really customized plan, which is uniquely tailored to your birth chart. Apart from this, I also provide relationship compatibility, also called synastry chart readings. So if you're trying to get into a romantic relationship, or if you're already in one and you want to know what the compatibility is going to look like, you can contact for a relationship compatibility reading. And I also do tarot card readings. So you can ask me questions related to your life and I'll do a tarot card reading for you as well. If you'd like to contact for any of these readings, drop me a message on my Facebook page. That's facebook.com/Venusianscorp. You can also drop me an email at astrolab111@gmail.com and I'll contact you as soon as possible. Both the links are in the description box, so you can contact for a reading if you so choose. So today's video is going to be about your sun sign in the second house. So the sun is basically your ego, your identity, how you relate to yourself at a very core level. If the moon is your emotions and your subconscious mind, the sun is your ego state. That's the energy of ego. Like, who am I? So that's who you relate to yourself at a very core level. It's your sense of identity. The second house is traditionally ruled by Taurus. And the second house deals with self esteem, self worth, wealth that you've accumulated through your own effort, finances, property, tangible assets. That's what the second house rules. So if the eighth house rules inheritances and other people's money through death and taxes and all that kind of stuff, the second house is money and finances that you earn through your individual effort. That is the second house. And so that's where your sense of self-esteem and self-worth comes from. That's basically the second house. When you've got your sun here, your sense of self-worth and your sense of self-identity is very strongly connected to the amount of wealth that you amass, the amount of finances that you have in your life. You may have a tough time receiving from other people. That can be receiving gifts, receiving money, receiving any kind of financial help. You may have a tough time receiving because the eighth house is the opposite of the second house on the axis. And the eighth house deals with other people's money, whereas the second house deals with money that you've earned on your own. When you've got the sun here, sun is the ego, your sense of ego, your sense of self, or your sense of identity is very strongly connected with your financial status in life. Not just financial status, but financial status that you have earned through your own effort. A lot of the times you may feel inadequate. You may feel like no matter how hard you try, somehow the amount of wealth that you've accumulated is never enough. You may always have this sense of um, not being enough, like it's not adequate. That's the kind of feeling you may have a lot of the times. Like I said before, you may have trouble receiving from other people. If somebody is giving you some kind of gift, some kind of help, or even cash, or any kind of financial help, you may have trouble receiving because that is an alien energy to you. Because you may be so used to earning your own wealth that receiving it or just accepting it without putting an effort from somebody else may seem very alien to you. It may feel very uncomfortable for you, outside your comfort zone. The second house is traditionally ruled by Taurus, which is a very sensual sign, which is an earth sign. It's a very grounding kind of energy. When you've got the sun sign here, you most likely are a very earthy kind of person. Now, you may have an Aquarius sun, right? You may have an air sign as your sun sign. You may have a fire sign as your sun sign. But by virtue of the fact that your sun is in the second house, it's going to give you a sense of stability compared to, say, somebody who had an air sun sign, let's say in the 11th house, which is an air house, or let's say somebody with an air sun sign in the third house, which is again an air house, which is ruled by Gemini. So what I'm trying to say here is that your sun sign in the second house is going to give you a stable personality. You are not the kind of person who makes decisions rashly. You are usually the kind of person who weighs out all the pros and cons in a situation before you make a decision. And you are usually not swayed by other people's influences or other people's uh, discussions. You are very solid in terms of what you want out of life. Usually that's the case. Now that's going to depend on the state of Taurus in your chart, where Taurus is located, the state of Venus in your chart, because Taurus is ruled by Venus. What are the aspects that are being made to this sign, to this planet? It's going to depend on your whole chart. But in general, the second house, having your sun here, it gives you a lot of stability. It gives you a sense of being connected to the earthly realm. Like, you are a very grounded person. You are very practical also. Most likely you are a very practical person. You may have big dreams because, you know, the second house is after all about wealth and finances. So you may have big dreams about accumulating finances and wealth, but at the same time you are very realistic about your goals. You don't make goals that you can't achieve. So, like, you are very grounded, like you're very realistic when it comes to your ambitions in life. um, the sun, you know, whichever house the sun is going to light up that area of your life. So usually you may find that you do tend to attract wealth very easily in your life. Like, it's not that difficult for you to prosper financially. Usually that's the case with the sun in the second house, because the sun is vitality. The sun represents radiance. The sun represents energy, because that's the solar energy we're talking about. And your sun in the second house of finances and wealth and, you know, tangible assets, like for example property and money and things like that. You've got your sun here, which is lighting up this area of your life. So you are blessed in that sense that, you know, you can easily manifest wealth. You are very good at manifesting usually most of the time. And you will usually find that you are able to multiply your wealth and finances quite easily. Like, you don't have to struggle, unlike a lot of other placements in the zodiac, in the birth chart. Now, somebody may say that, no, that's not true at all for me. Like, you know, I really struggle to get wealth in my life. And again, like I say, this is just a standalone, isolated placement of sun sign in second house. It's going to depend on your whole chart. For example, if your Venus is badly aspected, if your Venus is afflicted, or let's say Taurus is not in a very good position in your chart, it's going to affect how you manifest wealth and finances in your life. But just this aspect alone in isolation, because that's what I'm talking about in this video, just this aspect alone gives you that advantage over a lot of other people when it comes to manifesting money, when it comes to manifesting prosperity, abundance in your life. So, you know, it's not that difficult for you, because there is a lot of vitality around this. And I feel like the more you put in the hard work, the easier it is to get money and get prosperous. And that's a cliche, of course. Like, everybody says you put in the hard work and you're gonna, you know, the abundance is going to follow. But in your case, there really is some weight to it, because, you know, in the second house, the energy is all about your own efforts towards manifesting wealth and abundance. So when you do the work, when you do the hard work, that's when you start seeing the most prosperity flow into your life. So that's just a little bit about sun in the second house. I also wanted to add another point here, that, you know, the second house also has to do with self-esteem, self-worth. You may find like your sense of self-esteem is tied to your wealth and finances. Like, you may feel like, if you're the kind of person, for example, who may be struggling with attracting wealth and finances, if you're the kind of person who finds it difficult to manifest abundance, then your sense of ego, your sense of identity may actually take a beating because of that. Because it's very strongly connected to this area of your life, your sense of identity, your sense of self and self worth, especially because the second house is about self worth and self esteem. So you may find that these issues can crop up, especially if you are struggling with those things like abundance and prosperity. Then your ego may take a beating. Like you may have these feelings around unworthiness of only being loved for your finances. You may have those feelings like you are only as good as how much wealth you can accumulate, so therefore you may feel like if you were to lose it all, for example, then you would be unlovable. Those kind of thoughts can creep in. I'm not saying it's the case for everybody, but because the sun is the ego and the second house is your money and finances and self-worth, your ego is very strongly connected to these areas of your life. So that can be an issue that can play out. So that's just a little bit about sun sign in the second house. If you like this video, please do give it a thumbs up. If you resonated with it, please drop in a comment at the comment box below. And if you haven't already, do subscribe to my channel. I love interacting with you guys, and it's wonderful that you guys have tuned in to watch this video, and see you in my next video, which is going to be about sun in the third house. So see you in my next video. Bye guys.